Today we're going over fitness trends unveiled. What is going on in the fitness industry? What are long-term versus short-term trends? What is going to make a long-term difference in your health, your wellness, and overall well-being? That's important. That's what we're going to go over today. Let's jump in. Contents of today's conversation. We're going to what are fitness trends? Going over the longevity of them. Group fitness, online fitness, wearables, hacking your habits. I'm in the online fitness with coaching. As I said, I do a lot of nutritional health, fitness, lifestyle behavior change coaching to help people understand how to put all these things together into their normal everyday lives. What are fitness trends? Well, we have trends that have staying powers, and then we have fads that are short-lived. Things that have become more staying power, just in the image that we see, wearables, a lot of technology that we are wearing. I have a wearable myself, a step tracker. I love these. I'm constantly paying attention to how many steps I have in a day. Right now I'm at 3,500 steps. And that helps give me a better understanding on how much movement I'm doing in a day. And also helps me understand a little more intuitively on how much I should be eating in a day. Short-lived fads, as in the image that looks like the shake weight. That was definitely a fad. I ended up getting one as a Christmas gag gift one year, and it's doing nothing. Or you might see the little electric ab nodes that are supposed to stimulate abs and give you the best six-pack ever. That's a fad. That's not true. Or we'll have a lot of fad diets that come around and come and go. Don't do the lemonade diet or the grapefruit diet or the cabbage soup diet. Those don't make sense. Now, trends, they cross over between industries, so they can start to create a lot of cross culture there. Think of the wearables. Again, with that one being a relevant topic here, you might even have some in your company that is relevant to your insurance rates. That's a strong trend of people getting Fitbits in their company to be able to show how much movement they're doing or track health progress stats to help create lower insurance costs. It's influenced by research. There's a lot of money that goes into these trends of, again, wearables just being the easiest, most obvious one. And it changes society. We can hop on a trend of, say, cycling, spinning. Peloton really put indoor spinning on the map and cycling at your house. And that's a trend that's going to continue over time. Peloton in and of itself may come and go, the company, but the actual act of cycling at your home instead of going to a club is definitely here to stay. That'd be a good difference. Fads can be industry specific, thinking of actual just specific nutrition in and of itself. A nutritional protocol, like some of the ones I said, could be very specific to a certain industry. There's no proof that the cabbage soup diet will work. There's hypothetical, anecdotal, and claims that state this is the best diet ever. And that's not true. That's not how that stuff works. They come and go in quick succession. Even, say, the super berries or superfoods or these potions and mixtures and concoctions, those come and go. I've not ever recommended anyone take apple cider vinegar on a daily basis to help them manage their weight. There could be some evidence that shows or doesn't show apple cider vinegar could be beneficial to your health. I don't like it. It doesn't smell good, doesn't taste good. I don't think it has that much of an impact, and we can look at scientific studies to notate that. There might be some changes in the digestion, the stomach itself with gut flora, but not enough to persuade me to actually jump in and consume it or suggest any of my clients do it either. So fitness trends, the American College of Sports Medicine, the ACSM. This is a big industry leader that will do studies and has a lot of science-backed information to help you understand what the best modes of exercise and the recommendations are for our population. So we have wearable technology. The watch, chest straps are some most popular ones. We have some that go on the head for, say, meditation and mindset type stuff. We have there's a lot of other ones that we can look at. GPS units. I remember having a wearable back in the day, back when I was running in cross country in college. I'm 40 now, 4 kids. Running does happen, but not as occasional as it once did. At one time, the hardest question I had for myself was, how long am I going to run today? So that was the hardest question I had to ask myself. And it wasn't that big of a deal. Now, so we have wearable technology, but it was a running pod. So I put this little box thingy, strap it to my shoelaces, and it would tell me how my stride was and how far I went. But I had to download the information onto a computer after I was done, plug it in. So it wasn't as easy as what we have nowadays. We have home exercise gyms and equipment. There are a lot of specific devices. Tonal comes to mind. The mirror comes to mind. These are the at-home gym exercise is always going to continue to happen, but it might change in the way it looks and feels with the alternate virtual reality and the VR and the AR. Those are making it easier for personal trainers to come into your home and train you with a unit on the wall or with your exercise equipment that you have at home. Or you can follow along. Things like Beachbody have been around for a long time to help. We have outdoor activities. That's always going to be around. Getting outdoors is something you should definitely do. I was outside walking earlier today while I was on a phone call with someone. I do that pretty regularly. Get out, walk my dog, occasionally go for a run. I've biked a lot more in the past than I do now. And I get outside, and obviously we spend a lot of time swimming this summer. We have an above ground pool outside, so there's some activities that we can do. Strength training with free weights, definitely a trend that will always be around, definitely heavily popularized in our country through bodybuilding back in the 60s, 70s with good old Arnold, and it's just continued to progress in a lot of different forms of strength training with free weights. Great mode of exercise to do what I would call muscle building activities. This allows your body to build muscle, which is metabolically active tissue, and you want muscle on your body to stay functional in your everyday life. Exercise is medicine. Who doesn't feel better after they work out? That's a very anecdotal one, but we get hormonal releases that help. We also have a variety of different, exercise is, heart healthy. It keeps our longevity going. We have personal training. That too will never go away. Some people like person-to-person, contact and communication that way. I was a personal trainer for a solid 6 years where I'd go to the gym and train people. The next phase, I became a gym owner, and then I would run the classes, big, large classes, and help people get in shape that way. We did a lot of high-intensity interval training. That's not going anywhere. There's a lot of science-backed information there. We certainly have long-duration activity as well, just going for a long run or a long bike ride or a long swim. Those certainly can help and aren't going to. That's a basis of a lot of people's training protocols. We have body weight training. That's the easiest place to start your exercise endeavors, is start with body weight. And then there's even hyper-focused cultures or specific focal groups that target body weight only type training, whereas someone else might focus on powerlifting or bodybuilding or CrossFit or a Spartan race. Those are a large number of, say, different types of ways to go with being strong, functionally fit. We have online classes. Just look at YouTube for the real easy. There's years worth of content of free exercise classes just on YouTube that you could just push play and get started. Oftentimes, if someone is unfamiliar with a lot of exercise, that's not been part of their prior health history and things that they've done, following some exercise channels on YouTube could be a great starting point. There's a lot of well-produced ones. Fitness Blender is one that comes to mind. They have a lot of well-produced, organized, structured, and very well clean designs in their workouts that they do. And it can help you get going. So you just press play. Or again, we go to Beachbody, which was a big starter in that space with having DVDs. Back to those days, send home DVDs or even cassette tapes and then beyond. Health coaching. That's what I do. I'm a health coach. There's a lot of telehealth coaching now, so you don't need someone that's in your local vicinity. I've had people all over the U.S. and even the world that I've talked to about their health, their fitness, and how to put it all together. So very strong increasing trend is coaching people around their health, because unfortunately now more than ever people are not in the best of health just because of societal trends of activity, behavior. There's nutrition is very different as well. Those things impact you quite a bit. The right workout. Well, there is no right workout in a sense. It all has to be customized to the individual. People like doing different things. I've listed out a number of different trends that people would focus on. Someone might just focus on walking and their step counts. Others might do more niche classes like yoga, Pilates, or bar. Someone might do boot camp or a CrossFit or Orange Theory class. Some people might go with the good old fashioned trainer or just working out themselves, whether they're at the gym or they have a home studio that they have equipment at home. So it's not a one size fits all. It's a what size fits you is the most important reason why you want to do it. Is it connected to your why? You want to live in an active lifestyle that is congruent with who you are as a person. For the very, very, very long time, I've been an endurance athlete. With my schedule being the way it is now and having 4 kids, I work out a little less on those long duration cardio sessions. Whereas back in my 20s, the hardest question I had was, how far am I going to run today? So doing a marathon or a triathlon made a lot of sense because I had a lot of more accessible time. Plus I was in a gym. When I got done with one client and I had a break, I could quickly and easily go work out. But now I don't have that situation as much. I'm at home. I do have a backyard gym, a barn gym that I do, and I will just walk out and do that quite a bit. It adapts to your personal needs. Some people might need more strength training. Some people might need more cardiovascular. Some people like different modes and methods of training, from actual weights to body weight to bands to just getting outside and doing long hikes or rucking with weighted backpacks. Is it sustainable over time? That's a really strong question that I have when prescribing exercise to people. At the very beginning of a working relationship with someone, I'm going to ask them a series of questions that determines what's sustainable for them. Some people start off with just walking more, because you'd be surprised at how much walking could make a simple impact to your weight management. And then others, the last lady, her name's Morgan, wanted to get back into doing some beach body. She's very comfortable with it. She is used to doing that type. It fits into her busy life of a mother of 3. She also owns her own small business. There's not a lot of time. So her exercising that way makes a ton of sense. Now, incorporates movement that brings you joy. Again, all this has to circle around you having fun. I'd love to see in the chat box, what are some activities that you do for fun? So, and then also, why do you work out? So you can send it into the group. You can send it in as just an anonymous or direct to me. One of the reasons I like working out is I want longevity. I want to feel that vitality, that youth that I've had throughout my life. My goal at 50 is to look and feel the way I do now at 40. So I'm going to do some strength training. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do occasional higher heart rate type activities. And that's a really easy general protocol for me to follow. I work out most days, but not necessarily every day. I didn't work out this weekend because we had a very heavy amount of Halloween activity. So we're going from one place to another, and a couple different Halloween outings, we got a lot of movement in. So why do you work out? We have someone here just posting they want to play with their grandkids. I feel the same way too. And my oldest is 14, so ideally 10 to at least 15 years would be really nice before I start having grandkids. I just don't feel that old to have grandkids, but I want to be active with them and be functional. I have seen family members get riddled with poor health, and it ultimately costs them a lot in their everyday life. They just don't move. They can't get out. They can't enjoy life to their fullest. I want to be able to run around and keep up with my granddaughter. That's excellent. Anyone else? They have long time pursuit of doing a marathon. That's awesome. And I've done a couple marathons. I may get back to doing a marathon at some point. It, again, depends on time and probably one of my kids. If one of my kids wants to do it, then I might be a lot more involved and engaged in that. But I've been there, done that, ran about a dozen. And we got one, his oldest is in marching band, and I volunteered to help to get the props on the field. Yeah, you have to hustle. I was in marching band in my high school, and my son he got to do a sample trial. He's in 8th grade, percussion. We went to a football game, and he got to go out on the field and watch. And we're not sure if he is or isn't going to do marching band, but certainly know that, marching band is really fun, but they do need people for the props and setup and stuff. So thank you for that. Let's see. Do we have one more here? So for them, they want to connect. They want to spend time connecting with their loved one. So their partner, spouse, and just going for a dog walk is a really easy time for them to connect. I also say it's a great time to get your steps in as well. Walk and talk can help. That is a solid trend that's never going to go away. You can always take time anywhere to do that. I've even had clients take shoes with them if they're in a professional setting and they have more professional footwear. They'll take their sneakers with them and go hit or walk around the block in between meetings and such to get some more activities snuck into the day. So it works out really well. So thank you for sharing those. The understanding the why is really the most important piece of this, because then you can attach your mindset, the way you think about exercise and activity and staying healthy, and then you can start to shift it into your body of how you actually feed it and move it to stay healthy. All right, now we have this is just American standard from the government and recommendations of even ACSM of doing at least 150 minutes of moderate activity. That's you just walking around, maybe some light activity. Heart rate gets up a little bit, but biking, walking, or jogging. We have the other option, or a combination of both, is 75 minutes of vigorous intensity. In the image, we have running, we have a boxing class. It could be some challenging strength training, circuit classes that you could do. At least twice a week, we want to build strength in your body. In here, we have weight training, we have yoga. Those are really easy, important ways to build a better body and keep you functional. We have minimized sedentary time. If we look at what American standard is now, unfortunately, there's a lot of desk work, a lot of inactivity, day in and day out, 5 days a week, or sometimes even more. And in your off time, you may or may not want to move, but it would be in your best interest to move. A big strategy I have with a lot of busy professionals that have long work days is taking time to stop and go on a walk, go work out after that work day ends to reinvigorate and reboost your energy levels. Why? Because then when you get home, you're not just going to feel like you want to sit on the couch and be, quote, tired, not because you're physically tired, but because you're mentally, emotionally tired. There's a big difference there. And again, when you start moving, I always think and say movement is energy. You will feel better with more activity. Thereby, you get done with your workday, you go walk and move, then you have actual energy to live your everyday life. Really, really important there. Improving balance twice a week. It's important to be able to stay standing. The ability, the older you get, to stay on your feet really helps longevity. And another layer to this is your ability to slow down your body. Not necessarily like going up steps, but going down steps. Your ability to slow down the rate of acceleration is going to be a really strong determiner in how long you can stay on your feet the older you get. So being able to brace yourself for impact or prevent yourself from falling is really important. Having some muscle strength is going to be vitally important there. All right, longevity. So with longevity, we certainly want to make sure that you can get a healthy body into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and good Lord, maybe 90s to 100. Quality of life becomes an incredibly important piece in this. So you don't spend the rest of your days spending all the hard-earned money you made from working in a career every single day of your life. And we want to enjoy it. Here, Dr. Kenneth Cooper, we do not stop exercising because we grow old. We grow old because we stop exercising. Pretty simple there. You have to move. The more inactivity becomes present in your everyday life, the more likely it is to stay stuck in activity and not get out of it. I'm standing right now. I think it's a great way to do work. I spend a lot of time standing, whether I'm on a phone call, walking, or I'm texting, or I'm emailing, or I'm presenting, or typing on my laptop. I always try to stand. I have a chair on a table right now for my standing desk. I actually have a standing desk. It's out in the barn, which is outside, and it's a little chilly these days because I live up in the Cleveland, Akron area of Ohio. It's 45 degrees out, so I would be a little chilly. So I've got a stand-up desk so I can stay on my feet. I can move. I can kind of shift side to side. I can keep energy going in my body, which keeps me more clear-headed to deliver a better presentation. And I'm not getting tired because I'm sitting upon sitting all day long. So let's get back to longevity. So why is longevity trending? That's the question. Well, moderate exercise when practiced regularly can roll back the clock of your DNA. Exercise is an effective stress management technique that helps boost longevity, and the exercise is medicine movement. So what does some of this mean? Your DNA is affected by health and activity and movement and proper nutrition. And if you move, you're much more likely to eat healthier because they coincide with each other. It's more of a congruent lifestyle that you live and not get stuck in, say, bad habits of eating fast food or, again, looking around an office setting, trick-or-treating just happened. There may be more food and candy that are available, and it's a lot easier if you're not thinking about your health to just go eat something, in a sense. Exercise is shown to be an effective stress management technique, which boosts. So we know that stress has a super strong impact on your everyday life and how you look and feel about yourself, but also the looking around at the world that we have. We know that stress comes externally toward you and it comes internally in your mind. And if you have good stress coping techniques, you can manage it a lot better. If not, it becomes a big challenge for you and ultimately leads to more depression or anxiety and worry and less activity and less longevity in the long run. Let's move on. So the importance of cardio. Low, medium, and high, men and women. And as we age, we obviously have less cardiorespiratory fitness, but also looking at the impact of moderately low cardio is super important on our health to keep us healthy and alive. And as we age, you don't need as much, but we still want to preserve staying healthy, getting your heart rate up throughout the duration of your life. And just think about, if we lived even a couple decades ago, even hundreds of years ago, your everyday life would be probably a lot different than it looks now. Looking now, there's a lot more accessibility to be sedentary and sitting and just not moving. Whereas back in the day, you were digging in the dirt to make sure you ate. There's a lot more blood flowing, a lot more strengthening and moving of the body in that time. All right, so METs is a metabolic equivalent, energy needed to complete a task. It's one way to understand exercise intensity is a MET. So we can use heart rate, we can use perceived exertion, we can use METs, we can use watts. These are all usually on a cardio machine at the gym. You'll see different ways to monitor how hard something is. Now, a metabolic equivalent, a low one, 3 or less, would be considered light activity, slowly walking, sitting at a computer, staining light work, like cooking, washing dishes, laundry, fishing, playing most instruments. So there's some activity, but it's obviously there's not a lot of movement necessarily. And then we have moderate. We have walking briskly at a faster pace, cleaning heavily. So, washing windows, vacuuming, mopping as examples. So a lot more vigorous housework. We've got mowing the lawn, and we've got doing just an easy bike ride or playing tennis. Depends. If you're playing a match of tennis, we're going to be a lot more vigorous. But if it's just hitting the ball back and forth, not as much. Now we have the vigorous METs of 6 or more. We have hiking, especially on a hilly terrain, jogging or running, shoveling dirt or snow. For me, snow's coming. That will definitely cause a lot more vigorous exercise and activity there. We have carrying heavy loads, bicycling, quickly. So you're actually on a bike ride with the purpose of bike riding quickly and getting a workout or a destination to get to playing basketball, other activities like that, strength training. Now, let's speak of strength training. Why do we want to do strength training? Well, muscle building activities. In the chat, I'd love to see how many people actually do strength training, and then maybe share what you do for your exercise activity and can talk about it. That'd be great. I told you what I do. I walk a lot while I work. Then I do a lot of strength training throughout the week, generally 4 or 5 times a week. And occasionally I'll run or do higher intensity activity. That's the protocol that I have that works pretty well for me. Helps maintain my body weight, helps maintain muscle mass, and keeps me as youthful as I think I am at my age. Now, research shows that just 30 to 60 minutes per week of muscle strengthening exercise increases your life expectancy 10 to 17%. We could probably deduct that even doing 2 or 3 times that much will improve life expectancy even further. Muscle deteriorates after you're 30 years old. Newsflash, and there aren't any, say, swole or muscle-bound 80-year-olds or 90-year-olds. Father time gets us every time. Even the Austrian oak, Arnold Schwarzenegger, isn't quite his former self. He once was when he was, in his prime time, Mr. Olympia age of pumping iron. So we've got different types. We've got someone cluing in here. Excellent, thank you. So one person that trains at the gym a few times a week with free weights and machines. That's excellent. 30, 60 minutes works super well in that range, just as it said. We got another person doing a mix of HIIT training twice a week with some light weights, 5 to 12 pounds for different exercises, heavier for the legs and upper, a little bit lighter for the arms. That's usually our legs are just muscle and our arms have lots of smaller muscles, so consequently we just can't work out as much. I do a lot of home workouts. We've got a Fit Body Boot Camp, excellent. That's a really nice, fun franchise program, just like an Orange Theory in a sense, or an F45. They do a lot of full body type fun activities in a group setting. So that's great. Lots of variation. Wonderful. We have another one. Don't exercise on purpose. 5 a.m. until 9 p.m. Either driving, work, sitting. Yep, I get it. School activities. At 9, too tired for extra exercise. And waking up at 4:30 to get something in. That could be a great way. Now, for your situation, just having a little bit more challenging schedule time, I would purposely look at doing more time snuck into the day, actually scheduling time in your day. A great example would be your lunch break. Meeting up with some of your coworkers to walk. Everyone should take a lunch break. I've been delivering webinars that specifically say productivity increases when you actually stop and take a break from work and don't just work all day. That's a very clear clue here that go out on a walking lunch break. Have a very easy lunch that you can consume in very little time. Then you can get out and go walk for 30 to 45 minutes or however much time you have allocated. And again, you will be significantly more productive and just happier the second half of the day. And I promise you, because I've done this long enough, that everyone around you will take note of how much more of a nice person and friendly and kind and cheerful you are in the second half of your day. So that, and then just even carving out small chunks of time, like maybe every 2 hours you get up and you go on a 10-minute walk around the building. That's appropriate. That's productive. And the workplace will get far more out of you when that is allowed and even incorporate it into the workday than just sit down and work type mentality. Humans just don't do that. You will have a loss of productivity period when you just try to work all day, every day. It just doesn't work. So hopefully something like that, just literally scheduling time to sneak in more. Simple things for you would be parking farther away, doing an extra lap around the grocery store. Just silly things like that could add up to a lot more steps. And if you have a step tracker, you could start to take note of like, okay, today I only got 4,000 steps. How can I get 5,000? And you start with some small numbers. Eventually, even just walking could be one of your main features that you just are the walker for right now in this phase of life. All right? It doesn't have to define you for years to come, but right now, if you're schedule locked, that's going to be the most important thing for you to do. We have someone else, so hopefully that helps. Work out with weights at least 3 days a week with a trainer, YouTube videos, do some cardio. Excellent. And if anyone has step tracker, I'd love to know what your average daily steps are. I just was talking with someone today. I'm around 12,000 most days on average for months on end. That's a pretty good number. My Fitbit, I had a Fitbit that was way more generous with my steps. On nice days, I could easily clear 20,000. I think it just picked up my fidgeting a lot differently than what this watch that I have does now. Certainly you can get an Apple Watch or Samsung Watch or a Fitbit or something similar, but also Amazon has $20 to $40 smart watches that are step trackers, and that could be a really easy way. If you don't want something on your wrist, they have Fitbud pedometer, and that in and of itself is something you put in your pocket or on your hip waistband, and that can be something a little more incognito if you like wearing watches or don't want to have a smartwatch on. And we have someone 4,400 steps on average in the last 7 days. Here's a good illustration of how impactful just getting more steps can be. So if we just go over the 10,000 steps a day, that's a very easy number to think about. It's all over the media for 2 decades now. Get 10K steps. So if you're only doing 5,000 on average and you're 5,000 less per day, let's play that out. That's 35,000 less steps in a week. That's 140,000 less steps in a month. That's almost 1.7 million less steps in a year that could have a really big impact on your weight management and how you burn calories. So when we zoom out, you're like, oh my gosh, steps and walking and just movement and fidgeting can play a significant role in your overall quality of life and body weight, health, energy, and all. So hopefully that was a good illustrator. If anyone else wants to share what their average steps, I'd love to see. Let's get back to the importance of strength training. So we have other types, yard work. I did some yard work. This was about 2-3 years ago. We had railroad ties in our yard. I'm pretty sure the lady who lived here before, the house was built in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. Then, maybe that was the decor of the times. Let's put railroad ties in everywhere, right? We've seen them around in houses. I'm pretty sure there was a sale, a BOGO, buy one, get 3 free or something. I don't know. There was easily 150 railroad ties that got ripped up in my yard. Now, I did a couple of those by hand and then quickly realized this was a never-ending battle and I needed to go get a backhoe and pull them out. There were some stacked 2 or 3 deep into the ground. And so I just take the claw and dig those things right up. But it was incredible how much. That was exhausting, physically exhausting exercise and yard work. And certainly we have things like gardening, pulling weeds and digging in dirt can be part of what we do, or carrying or moving stuff. We have body weight bands free weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells, machine weight machines at the gym. Now, if I was to tell you, I'll get a question here, what should I get if I wanted to get some at-home equipment? That's a great question. I would start with bands. $25 or less, you can get a full set of multi-weighted bands or whatnot that you can do pretty much most exercises. And you can even follow along to a YouTube workout as well. So if you don't know how to do them, you just search beginner band workout routines, and then voila, you can follow along. They'll tell you exactly how to do it. You'll have a visual cue on how to do proper form so that you know what you're doing. So those could be really good. So that would be one of the activities that I would, or the single piece of equipment. Now the next one I would do if I were to get equipment would be a multi-weighted dumbbell. I got another question that I'll answer here in a moment. But multi-weighted dumbbell, the selectorized ones like Bowflex or the power blocks that go from 0 to 50 pounds, to a pair of barbells in a small confined space that you can change a lot of weights and do a significant amount of exercise. Then I would always prefer dumbbells over kettlebells or barbells because those are a lot more specific training routines and methods. Therefore, dumbbells, you can do all of those things with dumbbells, but you can't do barbell or kettlebell exercises vice versa. Okay, so if I want to do a kettlebell swing, I can do a dumbbell swing, but it can be challenging to do a kettlebell bicep curl because of the way the kettlebell is designed. If you were to do one in each hand, they would rotate on you and just wouldn't be very intuitive. So that'd be the priority, or just literally go to Planet Fitness or another 24-hour gym that's pretty cheap, $10-20 a month, and then you have access to all the things at a very cheap, low cost. That's one thing that we can definitely say about Planet Fitness is that they offer accessible strength training, cheap, effective, and a lot of places. You could even get their black card and be part of multiple. I think at the last time I saw it was like $20 a month to have the black card, which meant you can go into any Planet Fitness gym that they have and have a reciprocation model to it. So you could be on the road or different parts of town and hit different exercises or different gyms in a sense. Now the question that came in on the Q&A, if you don't have a lot of time, are there strength training options that can fit into shorter breaks at work or before bed? Excellent question. Well, if you actually had time you could change into workout clothes, then I would tell you to do HIIT circuit style classes. Again, leveraging the power of the internet, YouTube, 20-minute HIIT style workout, press play, follow along. You don't even have to think. You can just show up, do, and move on with your life. And doing 20 minutes may not be considered a ton of time, but if you get in there, you work hard, and then off you go in a really busy time of your life. Like the one lady, the one person that earlier mentioned, just having really timed, strapped schedule, that's good enough. That's going to be good for you to do. Now, some people, don't want to sweat at work, so you could just do, if you had an office or a place you could just do, 15 squats at a time periodically throughout the day. You could end the day with doing 200 squats and never changing out of your work clothes and never sweating. That will have a lasting impact. Or 200 push-ups in a day. You do sets of 10, 20 sets of 10 strewn throughout a waking hour, a time 16 hours, you'll start to feel that. There's just this accumulation of exercise. So that could be something really easy to manage, and you actually could do it with not having to change. If you're doing strength training, you would probably just do basic sets and reps and do multiple sets in a row. Just kind of go back to that circuit style. Walking is literally going to be the easiest thing for you to do to help with getting that. And again, that just might be it. And maybe you strength train on the weekends when you have more time. Or before, if you're doing before bed, you have to understand how activity impacts your sleep. I can work out relatively close to bed and it not keep me up for hours, whereas someone else can get a second wind and that ends up, keeping them up a lot longer. So hopefully that answers your question. There's a couple ideas for you, and certainly ask some more. Trend or a fad? Cardio or strength? Which one should you do? Certainly, most importantly, we want some sort of a combination of these. If you can't do or have access to a lot of time, the cardio side is going to be the easiest to do. Most people will be happy to walk, jog, or do a bicycle. That will be certainly, or go swim. That's longevity purpose is great. Strength training will always be prioritized to build a stronger, healthier body that can stand the duration of time. Just think of this. If you can lift an extra 50 pounds or 100 pounds off the ground, that means that you're more functional and you can survive in our world a lot better. And there aren't limitations to your abilities. Also go with just that simple idea of being able to slow yourself down. So walking downstairs and not tripping and falling. If you're stronger and you can lift 50 more pounds off the ground, then you can control your body a lot more. That's super important. So never skipping leg days in the week of exercise is a good idea. We are long. I'm talking too long. So let's quickly go through. We've got balance, flexibility, stability. So we want to make sure that you are balanced and you can maintain a center of gravity along the base of support. And for flexibility, you have to be mobile. You have to be able to move through range of motion. And for stability, you have to be able to control your body. Think of going to jump and do a layup. That's a specific control over the body. Or as we see in this image, we have the ballerina. One being able to spin, and for balance and flexibility to go through range of motion and have controlled motions. Next up, we have group fitness. So with group fitness, we've got show up as a group. It's way more fun. It's engaging. You meet people that are like-minded, and that can be a strong support group. It decreases stress. You improve your health, your fitness, your mental health. There's improved adherence. You will show up for that meeting, group, that trend. Accountability. You'll meet people that will help hold you accountable, and having a social support system is so important. So let's chat. What thoughts, feelings does the term group exercise generate for you? For me, that generates a strong beginning in my career in which I was able to meet a lot of people and start to just develop my skills as a personal trainer and then ultimately a health coach long term. There's a spectrum of walking groups from recreational groups like tennis or pickleball is a popular one. We've got group fitness classes at gyms or outdoor public spaces. And then you even have your high intensity boot camp classes like the Fit Body boot camps, Orange Theories, F45s, CrossFits as examples. We have online fitness. So with online fitness, there's privacy, there's accessibility, there's variety, there's convenience, and it changes from all sorts of just actual physical exercise to a personal training component. There's, of course, our classes like bike, treadmill, and other interactive equipment that you can do that's either live or recorded. We have how it works. Well, there's an app or service that you can log into and pay a fee, like Peloton has a monthly fee. Or again, you can subscribe to people trying to build out their professional personal brand on YouTube and subscribe to them. Fitness Blender being one of those. There's a number of live or on demand, so you can always show up and create that source of accountability if you're attending a live course. We want to be prepared with the appropriate amount of active wear and equipment. And then, of course, you're going to get moving. So there's a number of these: yoga, Pilates, kickboxing, boot camp, toning classes, dance, cardio, chair-based exercises. There's different types of a functional fusion. There's Zumba. I'm actually a Zumba certified instructor from way back in the day. Why wearables? Well, they help with step counts and help understanding just overall movement. They help with understanding your heart rate and understanding how your heart beats and show any irregularities in your health. They can be a very easy way to track things such as sleep and recovery. And for women, there's period tracking and such, so that you can be more reliable and understand what your cycle is, when it's coming, and how to manage those certain situations. So we have things around your eyes, your wrist, your chest. There's a lot of different types of wearables that we have. Diabetes monitors, blood sugar monitors. And so we have different ways that we can do this, of activity tracking and understanding where activity shows up. And then we also have the sleep and recovery side to help you monitor and understand better sleeping habits and behaviors of how you sleep and its impact on the quality of sleep that you get. So hacking your habits, we're wrapping up here. We want to think about safety. You always want to be safe and not putting yourself in harm's way with over-exercise or an environment situation or overdoing it. We start small, progression over time. We don't need to just go out and do all the things and run a marathon tomorrow. Don't be nervous. You're just smart. Start with things that you enjoy. We don't want to plan. We want to definitely plan ahead and expect to lose some battles in the sense of, not every workout at the gym is going to be perfect or exciting or energized. Sometimes you just have to show up and do. I had a lady who was going to go for a run and there was a bear sighting in the area. She said, well, I'm just not going to run here now. And that altered her schedule. So there are different levels that we can do. We have lifestyle, physical activity like walking, mowing, activity, daily lifestyle type stuff. We have active aerobics. There's brisk walking, cycling, just moving. That gets a little bit higher heart rate. We have active sports and recreation, your actual programmed workout, organized workout. And then we have level 4 of inactivity of, yes, you can just not do anything, but we want to minimize that. So we want to habit stack. We want the 2-minute rule is if you can get something done in 2 minutes or less is let's get to it, or just saying I'm going to get dressed and getting it actually done, because that's something that could fall in a 2-minute or less, and that can shift you into actually doing exercise when you get home from work and not get stuck on the couch. So, all right, so we can challenge yourself. We want to make sure that you continually push your comfort zone and learn and experience new things and have strong goal setting experiences of SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to you, and time-based, so that it helps push you into lifting more weight or trying another exercise class that you have always wanted to do but felt a little anxious on, and always monitoring progress so that you make progress. So I'm going to move into the end here with the conclusion of fitness trends change the way people exercise for the better. We talked about the wearables and having organized exercise. The right routine that works for you incorporates a variety of movements, adapts personal needs, and is sustainable over time. We make physical activity a habit to reap the health benefits. Walking at work or having that exercise break when you get done off work could be a really easy habit that creates more life lived once you're home. So I want to thank you, and I'm a talker today apparently, so really appreciate your time today. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer them. Just let me know. You can send an email out, and that would be very helpful. So I really want to thank you for your time today, listening in and engaging with me. Hopefully you learned a lot and you can start applying some of these trends now.